Hi everybody, hope you are all fine. This is Ateeq Ahmed, Assistant Professor of CSE. I welcome all of you to this one-day webinar on cyber security. Okay, so my dear friends, my dear students, my dear participants, if I say one thing to all of you, I believe that you people also will agree with me. You know what is that? If I say that this generation is the generation of gadgets, this generation is the generation of gadgets, then I believe that you people also will agree with me. You know what I want to say? You know, when we see the generation of people around us, they can't live without gadgets. Okay, here gadgets I am going to refer such as our mobile phones, which are our smartphones, laptops, computers, tablets, palm tops. All these are nothing but the various types of gadgets. Without these gadgets, we can't live. Simple answer. Okay, just tell me, you do one thing, keep your smartphone for 1 hour at a far distance and don't touch it. Whether it is possible for nowadays? No, it is not possible, sir. So, if people are using smartphones, if people are using computers, if people are using laptops, then compulsory they are going to use internet also. Okay, 80% of the people who are using smartphones, who are using computers, who are using laptops, they will use internet also. This is one clear point. Now, if people will say that, sir, I know how to use computer, sir, this knowledge is enough. I know how to use internet, sir, this knowledge is enough for me. Then why I should listen this cyber security? That may be your question. Sir, I am having sufficient knowledge on computers. I am having sufficient knowledge on how to use internet. Then what is the need of listening this topic, cyber security? My dear students, my dear participants, I will give one example to you. Earning a money is not a miracle. Okay, it is not a talent. But how to spend the money is very important. Okay, similarly, if you know how to use a computer, how to use an internet, this is good. But along with that, you should know that if you are using internet in your mobile phones, if you are using internet in your computers, there is a chance that someone is stealing the information. There is a chance that someone is seeing the confidential information present in your mobile phone. Whether someone is watching it, whether someone is hacking the ID and password, we don't know. You will say simply, sir, we don't know, sir. Then the purpose of this webinar, cyber security, is to give you awareness. Yes, you know how to use in computer, you know how to use mobile phone, you know how to use internet. Along with that, whether you know that there are some cyber criminals, there are some hackers who are going to hack your data without your knowledge. The thing that we need to see here is, without our knowledge, there are some hackers, there are some cyber criminals, there are some enemies who want to hack our data. How they will hack our data? Okay, what are the precautions we need to take? How they can perform all those crimes, each and everything we are going to see in our today's webinar on cyber security. So my dear friends, my dear participants, without consuming too much of your time, let me give an overview of our today's webinar on cyber security. You can see these are the 4 things I am going to concentrate in my today's webinar. Okay, of course the webinar will not be very long and boring. Surely you will enjoy it. Surely you will enjoy each and every minute of the webinar. Okay, I believe that whatever the things I am going to discuss, okay, they are all beneficial for you. So, these are the 4 phases I am going to discuss in my webinar. The first thing I am going to concentrate is the growing use of internet. How internet has evolved in this decade. How was the internet before some years back? Nowadays, how the internet has become popular. Okay, some surveys, some facts about our country, India, each and everything I am going to show in my first phase. Whereas in my second phase of my webinar, I am going to discuss about what is cybercrime, who is a cyber criminal, who is a hacker, and how hacker can hack the data. Okay, and what are the different types of cyber crimes that can be done by the hacker. That I am going to explain in my second phase of my webinar. In my third phase of my webinar, I am going to discuss about cybercrime methods. Now you can ask me, sir, you told that simply hacker will hack the data. How it is possible, sir? Till now we are using our mobile phones. Till now I am using everything online. I am doing online shopping. Okay, I am doing online banking, but nobody has hacked my password. Then you are saying that hackers will hack the data. How it is possible, sir? So I will discuss those concepts in my third phase. How the cyber criminal makes use of different methods to hack users' data without their knowledge. Okay. And the last fourth phase of our webinar, I am going to discuss about the security measures. Okay. At the end, I am going to finalize that how we can provide the security to our smartphones, how we can provide security to our computers, laptops. So each and everything at the end I am going to speak out. You can ask one question to me, sir, why we need to discuss first three, sir? Directly you can give the security measures. No, my dear students, my dear participants, in order to understand how we can provide security, we should know that how attackers will hack, how attackers will attack our computers, how attackers will attack our smartphones. If we go in depth about that, then easily we can able to understand how we can provide security to our own devices, to our own gadgets. Okay, so without consuming too much of your time, let me take you to my computer screen to show you and start the concepts of cyber security with the concept growing use of internet. So let us go to my computer screen now. So our today's webinar is about cyber security. So my dear participants, the main intention of conducting this webinar is to pass a silent message to all of you. So you can see the message that is coming in the form of letters here. So don't be a victim. Okay, so finally at the end of this webinar on cyber security, all of you will get one silent message, that is, you should not become a victim. Sir, what type of victims are? Victim related to attacks that can take place on internet. Okay. So let me give an overview of my today's webinar. What are the things that I am going to cover it out on cyber security? So these are the concepts that I am going to discuss today in my webinar. So the first part I am going to discuss about the growing use of internet, as I have told you. And next I am going to discuss about what is cybercrime, the types of cyber crimes that can happen. And the third part is about the cybercrime methods, that is malwares, virus, Trojan horse, logic bomb, phishing attack, shoulder surfing attack, brute force attack, and finally the fourth phase of our webinar I am going to discuss about the security measures. So you can see that our webinar has been aligned in such a way that you will get the complete knowledge. So directly if I am going to jump to the fourth phase of security measures, then you may not able to get the concepts clearly. So my dear students, so watch and listen the entire webinar with full concentration, so that at the end you will get lot of concepts and lot of benefits here. Okay, so let us start the first part now, that is the growing use of internet. So as already told you that internet has become one of the major revolution, especially in India as well as the entire world, we can say. And without internet, people can't live. That is the simple answer. Sir, why, sir? You can see the left side of the picture. It can clearly says that if you get an internet now, if you get an internet in your mobile phone or even in your computer or laptop, your face will be like this. So you will be very, very happy. Okay, and if we give two options to a person in a desert, whether you want internet or water, the person will say that I want internet. Why I am saying means internet has become such a major revolution that people are addicted so much that they can't live without internet. Oh, that is the simple answer. And if I give one more example to all of you, you can see that previously we used to say that people's basic needs are food, clothes and shelter. So food, clothing and shelter are enough for the people to survive. But nowadays there is one more thing that is added, that is internet. If there is no internet to the human beings, then human beings can't able to survive because they have addicted to the applications of internet. Okay, now we can see how the internet has evolved from so many years. Okay. Now, when we see this survey and when we see the statistics, really we can surprise that how our India's internet population has increased. When we see from June 2012 to June 2020, you can see here 137 million. Now, At present, we can see 730 million expected. Now, if we compare the same with the June 2021, as per the Cisco, then it clearly says that the population, internet population will eventually increase to 829 million. So, which is a very huge margin. Okay, which means the main reason behind the growth of internet is not only the laptops or computers. One of the major revolution that has happened is the mobile phones technology, the smartphones technology. So if a person is having smartphone, then surely the person is going to make use of internet also. Now we can see the year by year, if we take the statistic, internet population has increased. So this is one of the point that we can get. And when we are coming to the one more category, that if people are spending time in internet, or if people are using internet, if they are spending time in mobiles, what type of apps they are using mostly? So the answer is simple one, social media apps. So you can see here 28% now, which means if people are using internet, they are addicted to some type of apps. So what are the types of applications in which people will spend most of their time? The answer is social media apps like Facebook, okay, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. These are some of the apps in which people spend a lot of time to chat or to post their pictures. So this is one of the survey, and in this survey this information has been clear and cut. Okay. And while coming to the social websites addiction level, we can see with the help of one picture now. If certain person is using the internet and if you are asking them to come out, then their faces will be like this. Yes or no? Okay, hopefully you can say yes sir. And we used to see this type of diagram in our social subject. Hope you have remembered. And in that diagram they have told that previously man used to be a monkey, then it evolved into a human being. Again we can say that from human being the state is going reverse. But with less physical activity, more time spending on the gadgets. That's what it is happening at present. So we should accept that. So this is the addiction level that has been got by many human beings. Okay. And then life cycle of internet users. While coming to the life cycle of internet users, we can see the addiction level in such a way that no matter a person is in office, no matter a person is in home, no matter a person is in some other place, if you just give a mobile phone or a laptop and internet connection, happily they are going to spend hours without thinking too much. Okay, this picture will give a story of that only. You can see here, in any situation there is one thing common with the people, that is their laptop, or if I add mobile phone, that is must. Okay. And one more important point that it is unfair for me to, if I won't speak on this, is smartphone addiction level. Okay, can I say that a person can live without a smartphone? The answer is no. Okay, because smartphone addiction level is getting increased year by year. If we look out one statistic, you will feel amazed and you will feel accepted also. What is that? 90% of smartphone users don't go 1 hour without checking their phones, which means if it is day or if it is night, as soon as the 1 hour is going to be passed, they are going to check their mobile phone. What they are going to check? They are going to check, at least that it became their habit. Okay, so whenever they are going, they can't able to live, they can't able to keep their mobile phone, they can't able to leave their smartphone for some time. Okay, so this is also one survey, and it has been found that 90%. Sir, what about 10%, sir? Maybe 10% compulsory they need to keep their mobile phones outside because their office or their organization has not permitted them to open the mobile phones or to bring their mobile phones. That may be the case. So we got one clear idea that people can't live without smartphones, people can't live without internet also. I doesn't want to say all the people here. When I am saying people can't live, it means that I am applying this case for most of the users. Okay, they have addicted to the internet as well as they have addicted to the smartphones. Okay, my dear students, hope you got some clear picture that how internet has evolved in India as well as in the entire world, that how people used to use internet previously and how they are using internet now. Okay, Now you can ask one question to me, sir, what is wrong in using internet, sir? Whether using internet is any crime? No, no my dear friends, no my dear students. Using internet is not a crime at all. If you are using internet, surely you are getting lot of benefits. Okay, you can do online shopping. Okay, if you want, you can do online bank transactions. If you want to send money to your friends, within instant seconds you can transfer the amount. Everything is possible with internet only. Then now you will come to know that if you are using internet, whether you are taking precautions or not, because there are some people who are watching what you are doing on internet. Sir, how it is possible, sir? I am using my mobile phone day and night. I am using my laptop day and night, but I didn't saw that someone is watching my mobile phone. This is the miracle, my dear student. This is the problem. If you are using smartphone, you will think that nobody is seeing it. If you are using your computer, you will imagine that nobody is seeing it. But there are some cyber criminals. Their main goal is to attack your computers. Their main goal is to attack the confidential information on your smartphones. Sir, how it is possible, sir? Now I will discuss the second part of my webinar now. Here I am going to show you what is a cyber crime, what are the different types of cyber crimes that can be done. Now you can ask me, sir, why someone want to take revenge on me, sir? Why someone want to see my confidential data, sir? The answer will be multiple. I can't say there is only one answer. Maybe there will be some enemy who want to take revenge on you. There will be some person who want to just have a fun on you, or there will be some of your friend who just want to have a fun with you. I can't say, but there are cyber crimes that are happening in India also. You can ask one question, sir, in the entire world we know that there are a lot of cyber crimes, there are a lot of hacking is done, but what about our country, sir, India? Whether India is a hacking free country, or even in India also there are many hackers that are hacking the confidential data. My dear friends, my dear students, even India is also not safe with all this. Even India is also suffering a lot with all these cyber crime attacks. Okay, history of cyber crimes, when cyber crime first started in India, what type of cyber crimes are most common, and if you use what type of apps, cyber crimes will become more common. Each and everything I am going to show you in my next phase of my webinar. So for this particular explanation, let us go back to my computer screen once again. Okay, dear students, now we will discuss what is cyber crime. So first of all, before we are going to go in depth about the tools or weapons our cyber criminal will make use of, okay, we need to have a clear picture about what is actually a cyber crime. Okay, so let us have an idea about cyber crime. Point number 1, cyber crime is an illegal activity committed on the internet. What is a cyber crime? This crime will not be done physically outside. It is a crime which is done on the internet. Okay. Point number 2, it generally involves a computer or mobile and network. So if a person is doing a cyber crime, then the person eventually makes use of a computer or a mobile phone, and computer will make use of network also. If this combination of things are available, then the cyber crime can be done. Next point, the person who is doing this crime is known as a hacker. Now generally everybody will be aware of the word hacker. Who is a hacker? A hacker is nothing but who will do cyber crimes on the internet. So we call this person as a hacker. And the next point, the crime can be done either for fun or to target someone's confidential information. So the crime can be done either for enjoyment or for time pass purpose, or the most serious crimes will be done to hack someone's confidential information. So if someone want to target someone's confidential or private information, then during that time also cyber crime can be done. And one more point is, hence cybercrime generally involves the use of a computer as a weapon. So here hackers' main weapon will be the computer or sometimes the mobile phone. With the help of this only the hacker will perform all these criminal activities on the internet. So next, cyber crimes facts in India. Now what we are going to do means, before we are going further, let us have what is the statistics of cyber crimes in India now. Okay, whether India is also one of those countries in which there are a lot of cyber crimes. Let us see now. The majority of cyber crimes are based on fraud and phishing. So fraud and phishing are the two major categories of cyber crimes that happened in India. So what is phishing attack? You will come to know during the webinar. I am going to discuss clearly about how phishing attack will take place, how the cyber criminals will make use of this phishing attack. Okay. So the major categories are fraud and phishing. And the second point, India is the third most targeted country for phishing attacks after United States and UK. Now this is one of the very important point. When we talk about our country, India is the third most targeted country for phishing attacks. Now the phishing attacks are nothing but one of the easiest weapon for the cyber criminal or the hacker to hack the data of a user. How phishing attack will work, I will surely discuss during my webinar. Okay. Next, social network sites are major targets. Now, cyber criminal, they need to use some websites, they need to use some applications to target users now. Yes. Now, why social network sites are major targets? Why hackers like social network sites? Why cyber criminals like social network sites? I think you people can tell the answer. Because people will spend most of the time on social networking sites only. As I already told in my first part of my presentation that in growing use of internet, social networking sites are more popular. So that's why cyber criminals also target social network sites only, so that they can get maximum data from that. Okay. And one more point related to facts is, India is the #1 country in the world for generating spam. You know, spam is nothing but the unwanted or unnecessary emails that people will get in their inboxes, or there is a separate spam folder that is available. Unnecessary messages in order to increase the memory of your accounts, people will send numerous spam messages. Okay, so in that India is in the top position. So we can imagine these are nothing but bad news. Okay, so these are some of the facts related to cyber crimes in India. And the next point, cyber crimes cases found in India. Now when we are talking about country, in the year 2020 and between 2010 and 2013, we can see here the number of cases registered blue and the arrested is in orange color. And we can clearly say that from 2010 to 2013 there has been a drastic increase in the cases registered, but we can see along with that arrested cases also have not increased. So this is a worrying thing, because cyber criminals are more intelligent. They are more intelligent people. Okay, once they are doing some attack, once they are implementing some attack, then they have full knowledge on that. So arresting them is not the easiest job at all. So we can see with this survey, we can see with this statistics that more than arrested cases, there are registered cases available, which means still there are cases which has not solved. Next, cyber criminals age. Now it is interesting to see, sir, who are these cyber criminals, whether they are very old people, whether they are teenagers, or whether they are young people. So with this statistics, everyone will get some idea here that cyber criminals generally they belongs to the category of 18 to 40 years or 18 to 45 years we can consider. This is the age of the cyber criminals. They are not very old or neither they are very young. Okay, generally when the maturity level of the mind is very high, then those are nothing but they at that particular age only these people can become the cyber criminals or hackers. Now when we coming to the weapons, sir, what are the weapons used by the hacker now? Okay, generally we can see that people will use guns in order to attack or knife in order to kill someone. What are the weapons used by the hacker? The answer is simple one. They can use either our desktop computer, they can use laptop, or they can use the third one, that is mobile phones, because we can say some people they don't have desktop computer, some people they don't have laptop, but we can see that out of 100, 90 persons will have mobile phones, that too smartphones. Now if a smartphone is there with a person means, then it can be a weapon for the hacker to hack it, and hacker also will make use of these three weapons in order to perform cyber crimes. Now the next concept that we will share and we will discuss now is the types of cyber crimes. Yes sir, you have given clear idea about the what is cyber crime, who is a hacker, and what are the weapons used by the cyber crimes, and we have discussed some statistics. Now there is only one way of doing cyber crime, or there are different types are there? The answer is we have three categories of cyber crimes that can be done. First cyber crime can be done against the individual, second type of cyber crime can be done against the property, and the third cyber crime will be done against the government. So these are the three cyber crimes that are happening at present. Okay. So first one, cyber crime target. The first target for the cyber criminals or the hacker is individual. So why they will target individual? To access their confidential information, to access their private information. Let us say one individual is doing the project of some organization. Now if some cyber criminal want to access the information related to the project, then what that cyber criminal will do? The cyber criminal will target that individual person only. Or sometimes cyber criminal will target the individual person to take some revenge also. We don't know. So first cyber crime targets are individual people, okay, who are normal people. Then the second cyber crime target is the property. So most cyber crime cases happens in this category only, that is property related cyber crimes. Why cyber criminals will target this one? Because they will get amount, they will get money, financially they will become strong. And one of the platform to attack, one of the platform in which the cyber criminal will target is the banking websites. You know, nowadays almost all the banks have online banking facility. Even mobile phone banking is also available. So cyber criminals will make utilize of those opportunity whenever the user is going to log into their account to see the amount related information for the transfer of funds. Then there is a chance that our information can be hacked. So cyber crime targets is our property also. Okay. And the third category of cyber crimes is nothing but the government itself. Now even government is also not safe in terms of cyber crime targets. But eventually if we apply more security algorithms, more preventive algorithms, then the cyber crime targets can be minimized. Okay. So especially in government example also, we can consider this one. Okay. Why the government websites can be attacked? What is the main reason the government websites will be attacked? You know, the main reason is once the government websites will be attacked, the cyber criminals may found a lot of information related to people, like their identification numbers, okay, like their banking information, okay, like individual's address, each and everything they can find out. That's why cyber criminals may target the government websites also. So this is the third category of cyber crime. And the last one, common cyber crime targets. I have told you the three cyber crime targets, that is individual, property and government. Sometimes cyber crimes will be done for these two common reasons also. What are those? First one is for fun and the second one is to take revenge. So sometimes what people will do, if they are friends, they will take privately someone's photo, okay, from their profile picture and they will post it in the public. Sometimes people want to take revenge on someone. Then what those people will do, they will take the photo of that person and they will post it in the public. Or if someone has not posted it, what they will do, they will hack their email ID and password and they will post negative comments. So all these are nothing but the cyber crimes that can be done for fun or for revenge also. And there is no need for the cyber crime to be done by hacker only. There are normal people who are really interested in this, and those people can also do this one for fun or for revenge also. Okay, dear students, now we got some clear picture now. What is a cyber crime? Okay, who is a hacker? Why cyber crime is done? And what are the weapons cyber criminal will make use of? And we know why cyber crime is done. against individual, against property, and against government. Okay, we got some clear picture now that the story started off our webinar with the first topic of how the internet has evolved from so many years. Then I have told you about the cyber crimes, their history in India. Now this is the most important phase of our webinar. Now you can ask one question to me, sir, you told that if we use internet, there are many cyber crimes are getting happened in India, and you have shown some statistics also. We will agree with that. Can you tell us how the cyber criminals, how the hackers will hack our data, how the hackers will hack our confidential information? Now this is the question from your side. Now the answers related to this question I am going to explain now in my third phase of my webinar. Here I am going to discuss to all of you various cyber crime methods. What are the different methods used by the hacker? Each and every method I am going to specify to all of you. So along with these methods, I am going to give you some security measures also, so that you can take it as a precaution. So my dear students, my dear participants, nobody will believe until and unless some hacking has happened to their computer, hacking has happened to their confidential data. There are many victims. The main purpose of our webinar is we should not be a victim of that. We should not be a victim of cyber attack. Okay, so in our third phase of our webinar, let us discuss about the various types of methods used by the hacker to hack our data that is present either in our computers, either in our smartphones, either in our tablets. Okay, how the hacker can make use of variety of methods in order to hack the data. So for the last time, let me take all of you to my computer screen and show you the third phase of my webinar. Okay, now in our third phase of our webinar, let us discuss about the different types of techniques that the cyber criminals will make use of. Okay, we already saw in our previous phase of our webinar that why cyber crimes are done, what are the different types of cyber crimes that has been happening around the world as well as around India. Now we are going to see the different types of techniques that cyber criminals will make use of. Okay, ultimately their goal is to steal the confidential information from the users. It can be login passwords, it can be their banking credentials. So what are the techniques the cyber criminals will make use of? Each and everything we are going to discuss now. Okay, so my dear participants, let us see the first method that the cyber criminals will make use of in order to steal the confidential information or in order to destroy the information from the user system, that is malwares. Malwares are one of the simple method for the hackers. By using this, they can easily able to destroy the information of the users as well as they can able to damage the systems. So what is a malware? How it will work? Let us see now. Let us have a clear picture about the types of malwares. I think most of you might have listened these words: viruses, trojans, rootkits, worms, spyware, crimeware, adware. These are the different types of malwares. You know what is the purpose of all these malwares? They are harmful programs. The hacker's main intention will be to destroy the privacy of the system, to destroy the confidential information of the users. So they will develop this type of malwares and they will just pass it out on the users' computers. So let us see now. What is malware actually? Okay, I think if you are using antivirus software in your computer system, you might have got this type of messages that your system has been infected, malware found. Sometimes if you don't have knowledge about what is a malware, then what we people will do, simply we will allow it. My dear students, we should, or my dear friends, we should never allow this type of malwares in our computers or even in our smartphones also, because they will damage our privacy. They will damage the privacy of our computers. Okay. One of the most essential malware that is destroying the computers across the network is the computer virus. So already I think most people are familiar with the word virus. Virus is not a good thing. Okay, in simple words I can say what? Virus is not a good thing. Similarly in computer also, a computer virus is nothing but a harmful program that can infect other programs. So by infecting other programs, it will damage the contents of the computer. Okay, hopefully it has been clear to you. A normal virus, how it can destroy the human body, how it can destroy the human beings. Similarly, a computer virus will destroy the computer system. In the sense, not physically. I am talking about it can easily destroy the contents of our computer. So, let us have some clear picture about what is a computer virus. A virus is a program that infects another program. A simple definition of virus is, a virus is not a special type of software. It is also a program. What type of program? Like a normal program only. But what is the activity of the virus? The activity of the virus is it infects another program. It won't do any good thing to the computer. What it will do only the harmful things. That harmful things are nothing but infecting other programs. Next point, it has the following two major functions. So now a virus generally infects another program, but along with that it is having two major functions. What are those two major functions? The first function, it replicates its copies. You know what is the meaning of replication? Replication is nothing but creating duplicate copies and spreading it. So generally, if there is only one virus entered into the system, what that virus will do, it won't stay like this only. It will create its copies. It will create its duplicate copies, and those duplicate copies can harm the system, either in terms of memory or in terms of loss of programs or loss of data. And one more function of the virus is it attaches to infect other files. So not only it will simply eat away the memory of our computer, but it will attach to other files also. So once it will attach to other files will also get infected. So next one, what a virus can do. So that is the major question now. Yes sir, it is a harmful program, we agreed now, but what are the abilities of a virus? So what it can do to our system? So my dear students and my dear participants, let us see the points. It can damage files. The first point, of course, virus can damage your computer files. The second point, it can slow the system also. Sometimes many people will complain that my smartphone is getting slower. Okay, my computer is getting slower, my laptop is getting slower, my tablet is getting slower. The reason might be there will be infection of virus in your gadget. Okay. Next point, it can show unwanted messages. So it can show the unwanted messages or unnecessary messages which the user doesn't like. And it can take control. So the fourth type of point is very dangerous one. Sometimes the virus can take control of your system also, which means automatic shutdown, automatic restart of your computer. We might have seen all these problems. So who will do this work? Virus will do, which is an harmful program, which is a harmful program that can damage our system also. And whether only one type of virus is available? No. We are having different categories of virus. Boot sector virus, memory resident virus, parasitic virus. Next category is stealth virus. And one more category is polymorphic virus. Of course, these are all the major categories. We may be having thousands of viruses, but these are the viruses that are very harmful to our computer, and they are generally classified into the common categories. Okay, and what is the ultimate reaction of the person when these type of viruses enters in our computer? You can see this space. Okay, a person don't know what to do when this type of virus enters in our computer. But if we are having idea about the working of these viruses, then of course we can provide better security to our computer. That is our main goal of our today's webinar. Okay, so let us have a clear picture of viruses now. The first type of virus let us discuss is memory resident virus. Now we can see in this diagram what is memory resident virus. You know, every file which in the computer or every program in the computer should be executed through RAM. That is random access memory. So a program will go to the RAM, and from it you will get the output. Okay, but generally what happened, this type of virus will not attach to directly to the file. This type of virus will present inside the random access memory. So memory resident virus, as the name itself, it will say the answer to you. this virus will reside in the RAM, and whichever the program is going to be executed, it will take that program and infects that program. And what is the outcome of the RAM? The outcome of the RAM is the infected file. So a simple work of virus is it won't go anywhere. Simply it will reside into the memory, and whichever the program is executed from RAM to that program, it infects it. That's all. So in this way, all the programs which have been executed in your computer will get infected slowly with the help of memory resident virus. Okay, and it is also one type of dangerous virus that can occur in computer system. And there is one more type of virus which is a general category of virus, that is parasitic virus. So how this parasitic virus will infect the file? Let us see. Let us consider this is an uninfected program. Okay. And how this virus will do the work, it will attach its copies. You can see here, virus has been infected at the end of the program, and in the second case, virus has been infected at the beginning of the program. So this type of virus can infect either at the beginning of the program, or it can affect at the end of the program also. So parasitic virus is one of the general category of virus. The main purpose of this virus is it will attach its infection to the programs either at the end or at the beginning. The most dangerous virus amongst these categories is a stealth virus. Why we are saying stealth virus is dangerous? We can see here, generally there is a virus. What the virus will do? Generally antivirus softwares will catch the viruses. The purpose of antivirus software is to catch the virus. But generally sometimes virus will think that what should I do to avoid detection from antivirus? How I can escape from antivirus software? So what virus will do? It will enter into the stealth mode. Once the virus will enter into the stealth mode, what happened? Antivirus software cannot able to recognize the virus. Okay, that is protection. How virus will protect itself? By making itself into stealth mode. Okay, let us see with one example so that it will be clear to you how stealth virus hides itself from antivirus software. So this is one of the very, very intelligent virus we can see here. Let us consider this is a program. What is the size of the program? 124 kilobytes. Okay, it is clear. Let us say a virus has infected to this program now. And I already told you, if virus is infected to the program, my question is, the size of the program will increase or decrease? The answer is, the size of the program generally will increase, because virus is also one program. Already there is a program of size 124 kilobytes. To this 124 kilobytes, if one more program is getting attached, then automatically the size of the program will increase. So we can see here. So after infection, the size of the program changed to 148 kilobytes. Okay, now this is an infected program. Now our antivirus software, one way of identifying the virus is, what our antivirus software will do, it will compare the size of the original program with the infected program. The size of the uninfected program with the infected program. Now we can see the size of the infected program is larger compared to the uninfected program. Now immediately our antivirus software will detect this program as a virus. This program is having virus. Okay, but what our virus will do, what our stealth virus will do means it will enter into stealth mode. What happened if it enters into stealth mode? Once it will enter into the stealth mode, the size of the program again will come back to the original size. Okay, this is the intelligence of this stealth virus. Easily we can see here, from 148 kilobytes, the size has reduced to 124. Now, even though if our antivirus software will check, then it can't detect that it is a virus, and it escapes from antivirus software detection. So our antivirus software simply will ignore it as a virus. But whether virus is available? Yes, virus is there, but antivirus software can't detect it because the virus has entered into stealth mode. So my dear students and my dear participants, this is one of the most dangerous virus that can enter in our computers or even in our smartphones. And one more category coming to the dangerous viruses or complicated viruses, polymorphic virus. So what is a polymorphic? Poly means many or multi. A virus that changes its name on every infection. So hopefully you got clear now with the first point itself. Sometimes virus will have only one name, only one signature, sometimes virus will change its signature rapidly. So once virus will change its signature rapidly, antivirus software can't detect it. Simple answer. So first the virus will enter into the system in this way. Second time virus will enter into the system in one more form. Third time virus will enter into the system in one more form. So in this way our antivirus software will get confused and it can't able to detect the viruses properly. So this is a one more category of dangerous viruses, polymorphic virus. And the second type of cybercrime techniques the criminals will make use of is a dangerous program, that is a Trojan horse program. Okay, Trojan horse. Now what is a Trojan horse actually? So by seeing this diagram you might have got some concept that Trojan horse program is a program which looks like it is a beneficial program for the user. User will download the program by thinking that he or she may get lot of advantages, but inside that benefited program there are lot of harmful programs which will be residing without the knowledge of the user. So you can see here, this is a horse which is looking very nice, but we don't know what is there inside the horse. Inside the horse there are harmful insects. User will think the horse is very nice, but inside there are harmful programs which can destroy the privacy and confidential information of the user's computer. Okay. Now, how the Trojan horse will work? Let us see with this example. User will think Trojan horse is separate. What is happened inside is separate. So left side what user is seeing, right side what is happening inside the system. So what user is seeing for a Trojan horse and what Trojan horse is doing inside the system, that we will see here. So what user is seeing, Trojan horse is a good program, but what is happening inside Trojan horse is nothing but it is a harmful program. Next point, working fine. User will think that this program is working very fine, but what it is doing internally, it is doing harmful operations. Next point, outcome is good. User will think that okay, my program has successfully executed, my game is running properly, okay, my application is running properly, but what happened inside the system without the knowledge of user, outcome is damaged system. Okay, so internally there are various harmful operations that are getting performed inside the system. Okay, so Trojan horse is that type of dangerous program, and we might have seen in our computers also, during our Windows operating system will detect sometimes that this program is very harmful. Don't try to install it. Keep blocking this program. Of course, our Windows firewall or even our Windows operating system nowadays, Windows 10 operating system, it will provide adequate security with this type of Trojan horse programs. So we should be very careful not to enable this type of programs. And sometimes our antivirus software also can detect some Trojan horses that has been residing in our computer. So we should try to delete or eliminate this type of files, or we should try to quarantine this type of files as early as possible. And one more form of Trojan horse program is a rat. Okay, you might be laughing, sir, rat is also available in our computer. So my dear students and my dear participants, rat stands for remote access Trojan. Okay, it is also a Trojan only, but what this Trojan will do, it is having some extra abilities. It is not a normal Trojan, it is a remote access Trojan. So we might have got some idea. Remote access means accessing the data of another computer which is located somewhere. So how this Trojan rat will work, how it can access the contents, let us see. See here, a person who is on another computer can access the contents of the user from some other place. So we can see here, this computer is somewhere. It can be available in any part of the country or any part of the world. This computer will be available in any part of the world. But what this rat will do, with the help of this rat, with the help of remote access Trojan, hacker can access the contents of your data which is available in your computer. So it is easily possible. Okay. So what rat can do? That is the question now. So these are some of the points. It can infect the files. it can install keyloggers, it can control the computer, it can remotely start webcam, sounds, movies, etc. It can use your PC to attack website, or it can even view your screen also. So my dear students, nowadays it is possible. You can ask me, sir, we can do video calls nowadays, whether it is also a rat. Yes, it is a rat, but it is a good rat. We can see here nowadays TeamViewer application, we can see Zoom application, we can see Google Meet application, we can see WebEx application. By using all this application, not only we can watch the screens, but we can remotely access the contents of other computers also, if the person will give permission. They are all examples of rat only, but they are good rats. They are good rats. Okay. But sometimes if person will use it without the knowledge of other user, then they will become harmful remote access trojans. Simple answer. Okay. Best example of good rat. So is a TeamViewer application. So by using TeamViewer, user can able to conduct meetings, user can able to show the demonstration of the product. Okay. And they can able to watch it, and they can able to share the screen also. Okay. And how the TeamViewer will work with full permissions. If the person will give the partner ID, with the help of partner ID and password only, a person can able to log in. So here security is provided. But in some remote access trojans, without the knowledge of the user also, the sharing of screen, the contents of screen is possible. So we should be very alert of this type of harmful programs. And the third type of cyber crime that can be happening here, the attacks that can be done by the hacker, is with the help of logic bomb. Okay, what is logic bomb? Already we are having idea about physical bombs. The purpose of bomb is for exploding purpose, to do harmful things. So how logic bomb will work? Let us see with the help of an example. Suppose a user want to type some data now. Let us say this is my notepad application. I want to type some matter in my notepad application. So what I will do? I will type the matter. Hello to all, this is Ateeq from CSE department. Okay. Now I want to change the font now of this text. So what I will do? I will click format. Okay. Then I will click font. Then I will change my text to bold italic. Now what I should do finally? I should click on OK. So once I will click OK, what is the expected output? I am guessing now that the font should change properly. Yes or no? This is my expected outcome. But sometimes when I do this operation, I may get this type of message. What is that? Windows Explorer is not responding, or your data has been, you have lost the information, or you might lose the information. You know what is this one? There is some harmful program that is available behind Notepad, which we can't see. So this is nothing but the reality. Logic bomb has exploded. Once this logic bomb has exploded, it can do many harmful operations in our computer. And there is one more category of cybercrime attack, is a phishing attack. Phishing attack is very, very common nowadays, especially in India. Everybody can become a victim. Out of 100%, 70% of people can suffer from the phishing attack. Okay. And phishing attack is one of the most common and dangerous attack that has been taking place across India also. Okay. What is phishing attack? You can see here. A person is blindly typing on the system. Someone will hack your login ID and password without our knowledge. Okay. That is phishing attack. So already we are having idea about phishing. Many people will have the passion to go for fishing. What people will do? They will catch the fish. Fish will not come automatically. If you go near the sea and ask, yes, my dear fish, come here, I want to eat and I want to take you to home, no fish will come. Yes or no? We need to trap it first. Okay, that is fishing. We need to trap the fish and then the fish will come automatically in the trap. Same way, there are hackers which are using this type of techniques to fool the users so that their ID and password can be hacked. So email phishing attack. There is one phishing attack that has been very popular across India as well as in the entire world also. That is email phishing attack. Somebody will send you the email. Okay. And they will ask you that please register for and so account, or your account is going to expire. You may get these messages in a different ways. How to find out whether that message came from the authentic person or from the fraud or from the hacker? So my dear student, these are some of the guidelines, symptoms. you see the symptoms. If you find the symptoms in your email, then surely it is the email from the hacker. So don't reply to this mail. Don't click on any of the link of these emails. So first of all, you will get the mail from some different type of email ID. It will be a non-UR sender. That is the first symptom. So ignore this type of emails. And the email also will make use of bad grammar. So if you read the sentences, they will not be in a grammatical order. So there will be a lot of spelling mistakes. There will be a lot of grammatical mistakes. So that is the second symptom that you got the email from the cyber criminal or the hacker who want to attack in the form of phishing to you. And you may get some different type of link. There will be no HTTPS also. There will be no secured. Then you should not click on those type of links also. And they will give some threat of lost service. Suppose if you won't do this work in 24 hours, your mailbox will be suspended. So remember, if you get the mail from the correct sender, then those people will not give any threats of lost service to you. Their way of speaking will be very polite. Okay, this is the one more symptom. And at the end, they won't give their contact information to you. So contact information will not be in detail. There will be no mobile number. There will be no proper email ID. So if you find all these symptoms in your email, then surely someone is doing phishing attack to you. So be aware of that. Okay. Sometimes phishing attack not only will take place through emails, but also nowadays people are, we can say more than 90% of the people, they are using WhatsApp. So previously you might have got this type. Before WhatsApp has activated the calling service, many messages we used to get that try to activate WhatsApp calling by clicking on this link. Many people have tried to click on this link. What is the problem? They will ask you, take the survey. And what people will do, because of enthusiasm, they will fill the survey, they will fill their personal information, and hacker will get that information easily. So this is a phishing attack, my dear students. Always see the yes symbol, HTTPS, before you are going to log in. One more way the WhatsApp phishing attack has taking place nowadays. We can see this type of messages. Not only WhatsApp calling features old previously, but I got 250 main balance, 2.5G, 3G or 4G internet. You also can get. Please try to click on this link. My dear student, nobody will give balance to you. Nobody will recharge your amount freely. Nobody will give you 1 rupee also. These are all the tricks. These are all the phishing attacks that have been taking place across the social media. So be aware. Don't try to click on this link blindly. Suppose you want, sir, I want to recharge my account, sir. I want to recharge my mobile number, sir. Tell me the method. Now I will tell you the method. So if you want to get balance in your mobile phones, there is one solution. If you belong to BSNL, Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, Aircel, Uninor, Videocon, Loop, any mobile company, then any network provider, if you want to get the balance, get it from this website. Okay, recharge it now. Or PhonePe, or Google Pay, or Paytm, or through your official bank website. So, my dear student, there is no indirect way to get the balance. If you are thinking that someone is providing the balance, then surely you will be in the trap of phishing attack. Okay. And one more attack that can occur nearby to the users is shoulder surfing attack. Okay, shoulder surfing attack can be done by any user. There should not be a person, a specialized hacker. It can be done by any normal friend also. So you can see with the help of picture what is shoulder surfing attack. So whenever you are typing your user ID and password, there are some people who behind you or beside you, they can watching it and noting. They can note down that ID and password so that they can misuse your credentials. So be aware, whenever you are typing your ID and passwords, type it in a very proper way. See that nobody is beside you and carefully keep your hands closed and type the ID and passwords. Otherwise, easily people can guess your passwords and easily they can misuse the information. Okay. And one more type of attack that is really possible and nowadays and anybody can implement it is a brute force attack. So what is a brute force attack? Brute force attack is mainly done to hack our password. So if a hacker want to hack the password of a user, then the hacker can make use of brute force attack. What is brute force attack? It is a trial and error method. So Suppose user has kept some password. What hacker will do? Hacker will guess 100 passwords. How hacker will guess those 100 passwords? Depending on the seeing the profile of the users. By seeing the profile of the users, hacker can able to get the idea, the habits or qualification, or where that particular user is doing the work. Based on that, the hacker can select some information and he can try it different types of passwords. Okay, and out of 100 trial and errors, there will be one chance that the password can succeed. The password can have success. So with that, the user's credentials will be lost. How users choose passwords generally? Okay. Generally, people will keep their passwords as person name, their place name, dictionary word, number, double word, or sometimes their password will be inside in their email itself. Okay. So this is the survey conducted, and it has been found that most of the passwords will be either number or your person name or dictionary words. So we should not keep our passwords in this manner, my dear friends. Next thing, most common passwords by online users. So what are the passwords that our online users will keep generally? Okay, if we see, we may laugh also sometimes, but it is the frank answer. Generally, the most common password or what our people will keep is password itself. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. QWERTY, ABC 1, 2, 3. My dear students and my dear participants, if we keep this type of passwords, then it is we are just inviting the cyber criminals to hack our IDs and passwords. Okay, they can easily hack our password and they can misuse that information. Of course, we believe that our email IDs are not so important, but misusing that information is not good. So we should never keep passwords in this manner. Okay. Always our passwords, many websites will encourage us, many websites will suggest us. Always the passwords must be a combination of uppercase letters, numericals, special symbols, and lowercase letters. Okay. Your password should be a combination of all these 4 categories. Okay. We should never keep our password without skipping one of these 4. What are the rules for strong passwords? Sir, you told that we should not keep simple passwords, sir. But how we can select the password, sir? What are the rules we need to follow? You can ask me. Okay. So let us see one by one points. It should not be your name. First of all, we should not keep our password as our name. This is the first point. Point number 2. It should not contain a dictionary word. It should not contain a dictionary word. Third point, it should contain 1 or more numbers. So compulsory your password should not be only textual. It should contain at least 1 or more numbers. More numbers means more security. Next, it should have both uppercase and lowercase letters. Combination of both capital letters and small letters. It should be over 8 characters long. So always try to select the password at least 8 characters. Not more than that. If you can't remember it, at least 8 characters. And the last point you should remember is, it must be different from your old passwords. So some people will have the habit of keeping old password years together. Don't do like that. Try to change the password at least 3 months every time. So it will be good for your security. Examples of strong passwords. So if you want to see strong passwords, we can see all this one. But you can ask one question to me. Sir, it is very easy for you to say that password should be kept like this. These are strong passwords. But we have one problem, sir, with this. What is that problem? Yes, security will be provided, of course. But what is the problem? Strong passwords is equal to better security. But what is the problem with strong passwords? So I will show these pictures, you will understand. If we keep strong passwords, then we can't remember it, sir. Yes, I will also agree with this. Yes, I will also agree that strong passwords are difficult to remember, but we should make the habit of remembering it. Because if we want more security to our accounts, then ultimately we should sacrifice something. If we keep so much of simple password like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, A, B, C, D and so on, then anyone can able to hack our accounts, my dear friends and my dear participants. So always try to select the password strong, memorize it 4 or 5 times regularly. You try to log in it so that ultimately it will become a habit for you to remember strong passwords. So dear students, now we got clear picture now that how a cyber criminal can hack our data, how a hacker can hack our confidential information by making use of various types of methods. So all those methods we have discussed in our last phase, that is in third phase, which I have shown to you. Now the big question is, yes sir, we agreed now, you have told 3 phases. In the first phase you told about growing use of internet. In the second phase you told about what is a cyber crime and what are the types of cyber crimes. In the third phase you have told clearly that how a cyber criminal can make use of different methods, how a hacker can make use of different methods. We agreed with all this. Now so many problems are there, still we are using internet sir. How we can provide security to our data, how we can provide security to our devices, that will be our question. Now all those answers I am going to give you in my last phase of the webinar. Here I am going to discuss about security measures. This is very important phase of our webinar. Now we got one clear picture now that what is happening around the world, what is happening in our country India, how hackers are exploiting the weak resources, how hackers are exploiting the weak mindsets of the user. This is the time where we need to make our mind strong. We need to know the proper usage of internet. We need to know how to secure our data. So all those answers I am going to give you in my today's last phase of my webinar. So my dear students, the first point I want to discuss to all of you out of these 5 points is defend your devices. Now sir, how to provide security to my device sir? That will be your question now. Simple answer, you need to provide security to yourself. There will be no other person to whom you can depend on. Okay, for example, if some thief has entered into the house or some crime has happened in the nearby locality, then what people will do? They will register the police complaint. Yes or no? Means they are depending on the police to do the job. But here in terms of computer crimes or in terms of cyber crimes, we should not always depend on others. Why we need to wait for the crime to happen? Let us defend our device first. Okay, how we can defend our device? The first point I want to say you with a survey conducted by Microsoft. Microsoft has conducted one survey and they have found that only 33% out of 100%, only 33% people use passwords to protect their devices. It is really strange. 100% people are using internet, 100% people are using devices. Out of those 100%, only 33%, which means just more than 25%, 1/4, they are only using passwords to protect their devices. Okay, if you are having smartphone, you are using some pattern or fingerprint, that's all. Remaining 67%, they are not using any type of locks in their devices. Really, it is very strange. If you don't use pattern, if you don't use passwords, if you don't use PIN to your devices, then you are only inviting the strangers to hack your data. Yes or no? See, imagine you can ask me, sir, why I will give my mobile phone to strangers, sir? We don't know, my dear students, the situation. Sometimes when we are traveling in a journey, we may lose our mobile phone. Sometime when we are going on a bike, we may lose our mobile phone. Sometime when we go to some relatives places, we may lose our mobile phone. If it doesn't have any security, if it doesn't have any lock, then a stranger can access the entire contents of our smartphone. So the first thing, we need to improve this one. Okay, this is the basic security measure. So always keep some pattern, always keep some fingerprint, always keep some password to your devices first. Nowadays we got face recognition, we got fingerprint technology. So many technologies are available for enhancing the security. So we need to implement this first. Okay, our percentage should improve. Okay, it is very less. This percentage should improve. The percentage that I am talking about is the entire world's percentage. So people are using very less number in terms of providing passwords or locks to their devices. Okay, this is point number 1. And one more survey that is conducted by Microsoft, they have found that only 21% people use security apps in their smartphones. This is very strange. You know that previously when we used to have smartphone, there are no inbuilt security app. We can call it as app lock. There is no application lock available. But nowadays we can see that in every mobile phone, the mobile phone manufacturers, they are providing a separate app lock to all of you. So what you can do, you can protect each application with a password or a pattern or a fingerprint, so that if someone will take your smartphone by mistake, they can't able to access the data. So the percentage is very low. Only 21% of the people use security app locks in their smartphones. Okay, this is also strange. So this thing we need to improve first. Okay, and the second point, which is also a very basic but very strong one, that always we need to create strong passwords. So already we have discussed in our third phase of the webinar, where I have told you how we can select a strong password. It must be a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numericals and special symbols. These four things must be available. Then only we can say the password is strong. Okay, Microsoft suggests that, you know, Microsoft is a legend in terms of development of softwares. Microsoft has recommended always to use unique, long and strong passwords. Now, the big question which I have told in my third phase itself, you people can ask me, sir, we can't remember the long passwords, sir, we can't remember strong passwords. One solution I will tell to all of you, when it is, I also agree that remembering the long passwords is very difficult. Strong password provides security, but we can't remember it. So my suggestion to all of you is, daily you need to open your account at least once. Okay, just develop one strong password and try to open your account. It can be your bank website. Okay, it can be your online bank account. It can be your social website account, or it can be any other account. You need to open your accounts daily once. If you make an habit like this, at least for 15 days, if you do this routine, surely I will say that how strong password you will keep also, you can remember it forever. You can't forget it. The problem with our people is, they will create strong password, they won't log in at all and they will forget. Okay, this type of things you should avoid. So there is no solution. You can't keep simple passwords. If you keep simple password, you will become the victim of cyber attacks. So be aware and always have the strong passwords. And the third very important point is, use the social networks more safely. Why there is a special focus on social networks? Because already I told in my presentation itself, the survey has been conducted that people will spend most of the time on what type of websites? The answer is social networking websites. Okay, why? Because social networking website is one of the trending websites at present. Hackers also know this weak point, that cyber criminals also know this weak point, that people will spend most time on social networks websites. So what they will do, their eyes will be on that data only. Okay, how to hack the data? They will take advantage of social network website. So what is our responsibility? How we can use them very safely? Don't reveal your email IDs. Don't reveal your mobile phones also, mobile phone number in the social networking websites. Okay, some people will have the bad habit that they will reveal each and every data, their profile. Okay, my dear students, it is a very big mistake. If you show your profile to all the users, I am saying that if they are trusted friends, if your family members are there, you can show them, but never show your profiles to the strangers. If you show your profiles on social network websites, then what happened? There is a chance that hacker can exploit that information. By using that information, hacker can guess your passwords also. Okay, you know, brute force attack is possible with the help of this social network websites only. And you should be very cautious to keep your profile pictures also. Okay, in terms of if you are, why I am concentrating on this point, even though Facebook like website, they have implemented the profile picture to be safe, but anyone can hack your profile pictures also. So we can use it, but it should be in limit. Okay, that is the point number 3. Then the fourth point that I want to discuss with all of you is, take extra steps to keep kids safe. This is fourth point. This is the point where people will show negligence. Sir, how sir? You know that if mobile phone is there in our home, then what happened? Compulsory, if there is 1 year or 1.5 year child can also know how to use mobile phone, how to operate the smartphone, how to open the YouTube app. Yes or no? So what happened? Kids means they are not having idea, and I am not talking about 1 year, 1.5 year children's. I am talking about 4 years, 5 years, 6 year children's also. What is the problem with all the children's? Whenever they take the mobile phone, they will first install games. Their main goal is to play games. So where they will find the games? Let us take an example of mobile phone, smartphone, Android device is there. They will go to Play Store and they will download the games. My dear students, you know that cyber criminals weapon, one of the weapon nowadays they are using to steal your data from your mobile phone is through games only, because people are addicted to the games, especially children have addicted to the games. So in no way the children is going to say I don't want game, compulsory I want to download the game. Whenever a child want to download the game, along with the game there will be some special permissions activated and they can steal your information also. So you should be very careful to keep your kids safe. There are some apps available in Play Store itself only for children's. There are some concept available nowadays. The mobile phones which we are getting, they are having one option like kids play. Okay, if you turn on that option, what happened? Only the mobile phone is turned in such a way that all other unwanted activities will get disabled, only the limited activities will be enabled. So children can play it very safely. Okay, try to use those type of options. Otherwise, whenever a child is using the mobile phone, you be present so that this type of unwanted things will never happen. Otherwise, cyber criminals will take this advantage and they can steal your information by installing those games in the form of Trojan horses. So this is point number 4. And the last point that I want to discuss in my last phase of my webinar is follow safe browsing. Sir, what is browsing? Everybody is having idea. Browsing is nothing but accessing the internet through some websites. Now, I will ask one question to you. Generally, whenever you get some links in your WhatsApp or in your Facebook, what is the first thing people will do? They will click on the link. Okay, don't do this silly thing, my dear students. Why I am saying it as a silly thing? Because as an educated person, we should think whether the link is safe or not. Yes, link will open, but once the link will open, maybe there is a chance that virus is also there along with that. Virus may get activated, Trojan horse may get downloaded, or it is one form of phishing attack also. So how to find out whether the link is a good one or whether the link is a malicious one? The first thing you need to notice is HTTPS. Okay, if HTTP is available also, it is at the risk now. Nowadays we are getting the protocol HTTPS, which is the secured protocol. If a link is having HTTPS, then we can say the link is safe enough for browsing. And one more point I want to say in the safe browsing concept is, all of you be alert in public Wi-Fi's. The problem with ourselves is, whenever we are going outside, whenever we see any type of Wi-Fi signal which is open Wi-Fi signal without password, immediately we will try to download some data. Open Wi-Fi signals are also very dangerous for attackers. They are very dangerous because many attackers will exploit that Wi-Fi signals. With the help of those Wi-Fi only, our data can be hacked. Okay, so always we need to use our networks only as much as possible. Never trust the public Wi-Fi networks. In case of emergency, in case of the thing where you need to use the Wi-Fi network, at that situation only you need to use. Otherwise, you should never use those type of public Wi-Fi networks also. Okay, so these are all some safe guidelines that I have given to all of you. Okay, other than this, there will be many guidelines, but if we follow these guidelines, then up to some extent we will be quite good in our approach of enhancing the security, not only to our computers but to our smartphones, to our laptops, and to our other gadgets also. Hopefully the concept of the entire things in our webinar, like the 4 phases, has been clear to you. Okay, so with this, Let me close my today's session of webinar. See you soon everybody. Take care. Allah Hafiz.